blah, blah, blah. But while he's saving our lives, closing the border and doing this and that and growing the economy, he's stabbing us in the back because he wants to, it's undeniable at this point, and I'm going to make a video about it. It's undeniable at this point that he is trying to bankrupt our society. Since they want a new monetary system where they put a chip, a computer chip in your skin, and if you talk bad about them or protest, they just flip a switch and now your monetary system, your chip is shut off, okay? They've already done this to like 3 to 5 third world countries. They're using face recognition, though. They're not using the chip yet, right? They're just doing a test on 5 countries. They won't give them out any of their medicines that they normally give them. No money, no nothing. If you talk bad about them, because they just flip a switch and now the face recognition doesn't recognize your face. So if you go in and you went, well, you said you'd give me medications. They're like, nope, you're not. We don't have. You know, maybe stop talking bad about us, and we'll flip back the switch so that you can. Our computer will recognize your face. Then you can get your medicine. Okay, but that's what they want, and there's only one way they can do that, and that's if they need to bankrupt us, right, by spending money. So this is the thing. You people don't understand that there is a time limit with fiat money. With our monetary system, there's a time limit, just like football. If I say football has a time limit, we all understand. Yeah, it ends in an hour of play, right? It's the same way with fiat money. It's a perpetual debt-making machine, and you just keep borrowing more money because you can't pay all of it back, right? You borrow money from the Federal Reserve, how can you pay it back? If you pay, even if we took every dollar in the world and paid it back, there's still that only covers the principal. That does not cover the interest, and you can't and you can never pay it back anyway, because even if you could pay it back by giving them back all their money, you still couldn't do that because then your society has no money, right? You know what I mean? So you can only pay back a small portion of what you borrowed, right? That means your interest just goes up and up and up and up and up, and sooner or later, the interest is so high that you can only pay the interest, okay? And then once you miss one payment of your interest, that's it. And this is by definition. This isn't like some kind of theory or something. This is, if you read a book about a fiat system, this is how it works. You know what I mean? We could have had another 300 years, because there's actually a math formula. You can figure it out exactly when your society is going to collapse. You know what I mean? But there's so many variables in the future that you can't really get an exact date. But we had at least 3, maybe 400 years of not collapsing our thing. But they just we had $16 trillion in debt. Took 240 years, 45 presidents, right? And in 8 years, 2 presidents, Biden and Trump. Remember, we were at 16 trillion. Half of that is 8. Biden put 8 trillion on our national deficit. Trump put the same amount of money. The same amount of money. They doubled. In 8 years, they spent as much money as we spent in 240 years. And now he just spent another 3 trillion? The reason why we don't realize it is because as long as you grow your economy, you can do that. You can grow your economy. That's the opposite of inflation, right? So when you print up all this money, you won't know about it through inflation, right? But it doesn't matter. The more you print up, see, you're printing up money, and that means your debt goes up. They're actually if you plot it on a line, our national debt, and how much money we print up, it just keeps. This would be like the one, and this would be the other one. If you plotted them on a line, 2 lines would just follow each other. They just follow each other. They're the same thing. My whole point is your monetary system has an end point. Okay, so it's right here. But that's if you just act normal. If you start spending the way Trump and Biden is doing, they're taking us. We could have been going like this over the last 300, 400, 500 years, right? But they put it like this. Spending that much. They're spending as much that we would spend in the next 240 years, man. They have doubled our national debt in 8 years. And now they're even going more with $3 trillion more dollars. and we all clap and beg for it. But that's the thing. See, the second wave, the first wave are the Democrats, because they need this new monetary system. So they want to destroy everything, man. Everything. If you're a little girl and you have a lemonade stand out on the freaking side of the road, they want you to go bankrupt, okay? Because they want this new monetary system with the chip. They want everything to be electronic money so they can see exactly where your money goes. They can track you. They can, most importantly, flip a switch, and then you have no right to buy. You know, if your chip doesn't work, how are you going to buy potato chips or food? How are you going to pay your rent? How are you going to get a cab? You can't do anything without the chip, right? And they'll all say, oh, it's to be inclusive so we can include the poor people in the third world countries. No, it's all about exclusion, because if you don't play ball and let them do anything they want to do, then they're going to flip a switch, turn your monetary system off, and you will be excluded. But their definition of inclusion is never inclusion. Never. Just like the LGBT flag. It only includes a small portion of the population. The American flag includes everybody. But they burn the American flag and they throw up their LGBT flag that excludes everyone, all in the name of inclusion. Insane. Insane. So the first wave is the Democrat. They have to destroy everything. You don't understand? They have to. See, we got our Federal Reserve Bank, right? That we changed our monetary system there, okay? We got a Federal Reserve Bank, right? When did that happen, though? 1913. Why did we do it? So that we could fund, okay? So we could fund. These are the Republicans, obviously, probably. So we can fund the World War One, right? Because World War One, wars are money. You people are such idiots. You got freaking Vietnam was like 20 years old, man. Did you ever wonder why did that happen? A third world country, 20 years? Because we have rules of engagement that says they're not allowed to blow up any of the, and we're not allowed to blow up their tanks. We're not allowed to blow up their munitions. We're not allowed to blow up where their central command is, where all their generals are at. We're only allowed to kill people. We're only allowed to kill the Vietnamese soldier, the 18-year-old kid. That's the only, when we have a war, that's the only rule you have to obey. Never do anything that will win the war, but you can kill as many little kids, 18-year-old kids, you can. That's okay, that's fine. And nobody says, oh, how is that happening? It's because we have rules of engagement. One simple thing, rules of engagement. You can see it in the Jew thing right now with the Israel thing, right? Oh, we can't bomb over here because they put all their stuff around the hospital. Fuck that hospital. What do you think a war is, bitch? Put your shit around a hospital? Guess what? You're going to get blown up if you attack first. You know what I mean? Don't attack a country if you don't want to get attacked back. But this is the trick. This is the trick. They have the Republicans. See, like I said, if 80% of the government basically at the top is related, all cousins, to the same royal bloodline, going back to these same kings, or the first kings of everything, they're Republicans and Democrats. They're all the same. They're all cousins, okay? And they just care about this main plan. The main plan, see, okay, so what? World War One, we changed the monetary system by having into the Federal Reserve Bank. Then what do we do? What was the second time? Oh, World War Two. World War Two. Right after World War Two. We changed our monetary system so that it was more global, right? And what did we create? The World Bank. And that just basically a Federal Reserve Bank that destroys societies, but worldwide. You know, instead of just like the Federal Reserve Bank only destroys our society so that they can come in and buy all the property up for pennies and then flood the market back with money so that what they bought goes back up in value. Yeah, the World Bank just does that to the same, you know, but they do even worse because then they try to get the third world country to take away all their tariffs like they did with us, because low import tariffs, hurt everyone except for the elites. You know what I mean? And we all clap. Please give us high import tariffs so we can be poor, so that rich can be rich. I don't know. But they'll get them to say that, hey, because you owe us money, you got to vote the way we want at the UN. That's how they took over the UN. They got the World Bank to go into these countries, strong-arming them into getting loans that they cannot pay back. It's impossible. Now you got third world countries who literally 50% of their, I did videos on it, 50% of their GDP, 50% of the money that that country makes goes to just paying just the interest on these World Bank loans. And that it just gets higher and higher and higher. So they just strong arm more and more and more and more. Where their mega companies come in and take over the entire economy with their products with these low import tariffs. And then the economy for the indigenous people, just like in America, just goes to crap because you can't compete against mega elites with mega corporations. You can't. No one can. Not in the USA, not in a third world country. So what do? They just make out low. You might say, well, how does that work in the USA? Well, because if you have low import tariffs, that means they can use slave labor in other countries, and they just import it in. And these are like literal slaves, some of them. The other ones are just underpaid, so they're like paid like $1 a day or whatever. You know what I mean? Just so that they can bring it over. Now, how do we compete? We can't compete with slave labor. If someone has slave labor, how does an American-owned company compete with that? They can't have slaves. So basically, yeah, all these people, like, look at Greg Abbott. I don't know if he's second wave or not, but look at what he did, okay? You can say that, oh, look, he woke up the country to, when he started shipping illegal aliens to these blue cities, right? But if he's second wave, then maybe he did it so that we could argue and divide us, right? Throw oil on the fire, right? And if you distribute these illegal aliens into the interior of the United States, all over the place, it's harder to deport them, right? Because now you got to track them all down all throughout the country. Whereas before they were all in Texas, right? You could have easily came in and got them all, boom. Maybe he's second wave, and his plan was to distribute them into the interior further and stir up us to fight. Same way when he was putting the buoys in the river, right? Blocking the illegals. Oh, look what he's doing. First of all, it didn't block anyone. All they had to do was walk around. It was like, don't act like you did something. But, so did he stop or even slow down illegal aliens coming in? No. But what he did do was he forced them to all go into, right, because they all have to walk to the end of the buoys, right, to get into America. All he did was funnel everyone in to a focal area so it would be easier and faster and more rapid to process these people and push them into the interior of the country, right? I mean, if he was second wave, couldn't that be a truth? He was doing it so that they can all be, and then they can have the immigration officers just pick them all up, do the paperwork, send them in, get more and more. It's just a more efficient way to process them in a more rapid way to process them into the interior of the country. So is he second wave? I don't know, but I heard that he has a literal, city that he is building, right? I mean, not him personally, but that they're building 50,000 to 75,000 people it can now house, and it's only for illegal aliens. If you're a citizen, you can't buy any of these houses they're building in this city, and so that leads me to believe this guy is probably second wave, just like Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley is second wave. If she would have got in to be the president, see, they want World War III to happen in 2027. That's a fact. I don't know if it's going to happen. If Biden was president right now and Trump lost, it's a fact. In 2027, World War III would have started. That's a fact. They tell us. That's what's funny. They always tell us what they're doing. No one listens, though. No one cares. Or they think it's a lie. Maybe that's why they tell us, because it sounds so ludicrous when you tell them that they said it. They just don't believe you. But what's funny is you can show them proof. You can show video proof of them saying what they're doing. Show them websites of these, the WEF and the WHO and all that. They still don't believe, even though it's right in front of their eyes. Yeah, so the second wave is their job is to be Republicans, number one. Number two is to be